Students and clients often tell me, I want to start strength training, but I'm afraid I'll hurt myself. This is smart. You're listening to your body, and your body's telling you you need more stability for lifting. Lifting weights without true core strength is risky. This is especially true for women over 40 because you're adding load, but you don't have stability in the core of your body. But here's the thing, true core is not abs. And it's not bracing. True core is easier than that. It is core strength that's driven by your breathing. And once you have it, it's with you all the time. This is how I finally stabilized my SI joint and felt safe lifting weights. In this video, I'll teach you how to find true core. I'll explain why bracing, tucking, and sucking does not work and makes you more prone to injury once you start lifting. I'll do demonstrations so you can see the 3 mistakes that most people make. Use those to diagnose yourself so you know what to do today. Without true core, you will compensate somewhere, somehow. You get tweaky. The weak spots in your body end up taking the load. To prevent injuries, start here. Develop your true core before lifting. True core is easier than what most people are doing for core. And it's with you all the time, not just when you're crunching or squeezing or bracing. So you have it when you need it, like when you're picking up the groceries or the baby or lifting something heavy. Do this little exercise with me and you'll feel how core can come from your breathing. Place your hands on your lower front ribs. Take an inhale through your nose. And then exhale through pursed lips like you're breathing through a straw. Just 2 more. As you inhale, notice how the ribs expand forward, out. Slide your hands a little bit back, and you want to feel the side ribs expand. And then exhale, notice how the ribs come in and down. There's almost like a little corset to the core. 1 more. Inhale through your nose. The ribs open like the gills of a fish. And then exhale. The ribs will close like the gills of a fish. This is the beginning of you discovering the power of your breathing and how it can generate true core. I'll show you more in just a minute, but before that, let's talk about what true core is not. True core is not bracing or bearing down. This can cause hernias, hemorrhoids, pelvic floor problems, and even constipation. True core is not tucking, hooking, or scooping your tailbone. This compromises your lower back and turns off the muscles you need for strength. True core is not sucking, pulling your navel to the spine, or hollowing out your abdominals. This destabilizes your SI joint and lower back and leads to digestion problems. With these outdated core strategies, most people feel unstable in their lower back, but pain can also show up in your shoulders, in your neck, in your knees, or even unstable ankles. Now that you know what deep core is not and you can stop doing those outdated core strategies, let's talk about what true core is. Think of your core like a balloon. It's a pressure system. And if you squeeze one part of that balloon, the pressure has to go somewhere. With outdated core strategies and poor postural habits, most of us squeeze our core in weird ways. And then the pressure, the load from lifting weights is not distributed evenly through the body. And something complains in the language of pain. To get the proper pressure system in the core of your body, you need 2 things. Number 1 is breathing driven by your diaphragm. Not your chest, not your belly, but the lower rib region where we had our hands. Your diaphragm is the engine of your breathing. It expands and widens and descends on inhale, pulling air into your lungs. And then it draws up and in on exhale, pushing air out of your lungs. The best way to train breathing with your diaphragm is to place your hands on your lower ribs like we did earlier. Inhale through your nose. And you want the most movement to be in your lower rib region. And then exhale through pursed lips like you're breathing through a straw. The shape of your mouth matters. and you'll feel the front ribs come in and down. Resist tucking under or rounding your shoulders forward. Stay focused on moving from the diaphragm. Yes, this takes work. Yes, this may be different. Yes, you may feel a little bit lost and confused. All okay. This is a muscle and it takes strengthening just like any other muscle in your body. Do a few rounds of breathing with me. Hands on lower ribs. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through pursed lips like you're breathing through a straw. Keep going. Inhale. Front ribs expand. Side ribs expand. And then exhale. Front ribs come in and down. Side ribs draw in and down. One more like this. Inhale, the ribs expand like the gills of a fish. Exhale, the ribs close like the gills of a fish. Just that will make a world of difference with your core strength and the power and stability you feel in the core of your body. If you want to take this a little farther, a little deeper, you can use a yoga strap and place it around your ribs. We actually have whole practices that we do like this in the 20-Minute Miracles app. And once you have this strap around the lower ribs, right where your hands were a moment ago, you do the same breathing technique. In through the nose on the inhale. And the ribs will expand out into the strap, and you want 360 expansion. So all around. And then exhale. And you'll notice the strap gets very, very loose, as if it's going to fall off. Keep going. Inhale. Now, you want the strap tight enough that you can breathe into it, but not so tight that it restricts your breathing. And that looseness, almost falling off, is exactly what we want to see, because then you've got that corset of the core from the exhale. Keep going. Inhale. Bonus points if you keep this on and do your breathing while you watch the rest of the video. So the first thing you need for true core is breathing driven by your diaphragm. The second thing you need is for your rib cage and pelvis to be stacked. Why? Then your respiratory diaphragm and your pelvic floor can talk. When they're moving together with the rhythm of your breathing, the balloon of your abdomen is well pressurized. When they're off, like you have the ribs forward, butt back, or you're excessively tucked under so the ribs are back and the pelvic floor is forward, the abdomen cannot be well pressurized. It's like the north and south poles of your core are not aligned. To get the rib cage and pelvis stacked, you need 5 muscles online. The transverse abdominis, which is the corset of your core, serratus anterior to rein in your ribs, the side wall abdominals, the obliques, will help you lift your low belly up and in and lift the front of your pelvis. The hamstrings anchor the back of your pelvis. The inner thighs also help anchor your pelvis and are the gateway to the pelvic floor. For more on that 5 muscle formula, watch the True Core After 40 video. Now that you know what True Core is not, and the 2 things you need to get True Core in your body, let's look at the 3 mistakes that most people make. Use these demonstrations to diagnose yourself, and I'll give you exactly what to do to get out of the postural pattern. Number 1 is the good posture trap. This is where you're stuck with your ribs forward and your butt back. And you probably got taught to do that. It's how you get good posture. Take out the computer slump. It helps you feel like your chest is open, your heart is open. It's the yoga back bend. One of my clients had a really hard time with this. She was very attached to the feeling of chest forward and up. She felt like a good yogi when she was doing that, like she was standing tall. It was how she learned to do back bends. It helped her feel like she had good posture, but it was wrecking her lower back. So we did this practice that was full of contrast. I would have her do the old thing, ribs forward, butt back, and notice the crunchy scrunchy in her lower back. Then she'd drop her ribs in and down. She'd get some strength in the back of her legs to anchor her pelvis, and her lower back would feel safe and strong and solid, And she could do a lot more. Her balance was steadier. She could lift heavier weights. She felt safer, especially once we added load. If you're in this overachiever camp, if you have lifted your chest up and pushed your ribs forward in the name of good posture, dropping your ribs in and down will rub up against your conditioning. But it's what you need for strength and stability, especially if you're lifting weights. Number 2 is the safety tuck. With this pattern, the tailbone is excessively, maybe even aggressively tucked under. You tuck to protect your lower back, and it can give you a sense of that, but over time you flatten the natural curve of your lower back and you turn off the pelvic floor, the glutes, and the hamstrings, the very muscles designed to protect your lower back. So the fix is releasing some of that over tucking and finding neutral with your pelvis. When you do this, you'll feel like you're sticking your butt out. Use a mirror because you'll be surprised at what this small adjustment does for your posture. You'll find that your butt is not back, but you are much more upright. Over time, you'll be able to develop the strength you need in pelvic floor, glutes, and hamstrings to feel solid and steady and maintain the natural curves of your spine. I had a client who would excessively tuck under because she thought it was protecting her lower back. But over time, it started to compromise S1, L5, L5, L4. So she had to learn to find strength in a new way. As she started to release the excessive tucking, we were able to restore the natural spring of her pelvic floor, which is very, very locked up from that tuck. As the pelvic floor released, her digestion got better, her elimination improved, and then we were able to work on the hamstrings and glutes. Over time, she felt more solid, also more safe in her body because she wasn't always protecting. Pattern number 3 is panicked gripping. This is for those of you who feel core in all the wrong places. You feel it in your groins, your psoas, or your lower back, or you find that you're trying to do core work from your neck. Your fix is to soften and allow your breathing to do the core activation for you. You will feel like this is not enough, but you are gripping and bracing because you do not trust your breathing. And the muscles you're using are not designed for stabilizing. So they grip and pinch and pull, and eventually something goes out, whether it's your neck, your lower back, or your SI joint. If you're in this camp, there is a 10-minute core practice. It's done at the wall, and it allows you to soften and release all of the muscles you're overusing and trust in your breathing and feel the power that can come from that. If core has been confusing and like you can't get it, can't find it, even when you're really, really, really trying, you're in one of these 3 patterns. And that's why when you start to lift weights, when you start to strength train and add load, your body gets tweaky, something gets injured, or starts complaining. You do not have the alignment you need for the pressure system of your core to kick in with your breathing. So your joints or weak spots, areas of old injuries, take the hit instead. But when your breathing is driven from your diaphragm and your rib cage and pelvic floor is aligned, like a balloon, your core distributes the weight evenly. So you feel strong, solid, and over time, you'll find you have more power. So when you're pushing something with your arms or your legs, it's like it's coming from your core. It's coming from the engine of your breathing. There's a whole body strength that will make you feel like Superwoman. Now that you've released old, outdated definitions of core, and you know the 2 things you need for true core: breathing driven by your diaphragm, pelvis and rib cage stacked. You've also diagnosed your posture so you know what might be keeping you from true core and the first thing to do to fix it. Now it's time to practice, to get it and feel it in your body. There is a prepare your core practice that goes along with this video. Use it to activate your core through your breathing, and then connect your core through your legs and through your arms so you're ready for lifting. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, hit the like button. It helps this video reach more women. Questions, leave them in the comments below. I will answer every one.